Okay, so let us start. Our topic for today, networking or network operating systems features or yung NOS. Then we have user access level configurations, network policies and services, setup, peer-to-peer network access. So we have 4 topics up to 4:30. Okay. So outline, we have client and host, and then network operating system for our first topic. And then for the second part of our class, we'll be having server 2008, creating user accounts in Active Directory, and then security and network policies, and peer-to-peer network setup. So let's start with the introduction of the client and a host. So let's play this video, then after that I will discuss. So let's begin with this one.
Welcome to your 8th computer networking tutorial, and in this video what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys about a client and a host, because these are some of the 2 most commonly used terms in computer networking, so it's probably a good idea if we understand what the heck they mean. So in the last video we talked about basically how your computer looks at a website on the internet. So basically what happens is your PC, say it's we'll just say it's a Mac for this example. What it's going to do is it's going to type in the browser, I don't know, the New Boston, and the New Boston server, wow, that's an ugly looking server. The server basically, like I said, is a special computer that anyone can access. We'll say this is a web server, so anyone can access it. What it's going to do is it's going to be like, hey, web server, do you have any of those web files that I want to look at? And the web server is going to be like, why, indeed I do, governor. And then it's going to go ahead and send those files over, and then your browser, hopefully Chrome, is going to interpret that file and turn it into a nice, pretty looking web page. Well, in this relationship, we would call the PC the client, the PC or the Mac or the laptop, whatever. Your home computer is the client, and the web server is the host. So why do we call this a client, and why do we call this the host? Well, you can remember this because whenever a computer, your PC, gets a file, it's called the client. You remember this because whenever a client goes into a business, the client is the one who's getting the service. The client gets the stuff, and in computer networking, they get either a file or data of some sort. Now the host, which is the web server, that's the computer that gives the data or gives the file. So it gives it away, and you remember this because maybe you're hosting a party at your house, you're giving away food to your guests, you're giving away crap. So basically that's what a client is, the computer that gets something, and the host is the computer that gives it away. So again, whenever we're talking about this in computer networking, we aren't talking about, getting food or, getting business services. We're talking about getting data. So one last time, just to recap, whenever you want to view a website on your computer, you type it in and you request it from the web server or the host. And the host is basically going to give the data to the client. So the client gets data or a website file from the host. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, boom, roasted.
Di na sapat ang painkillers? Baka may nerve damage. Take Doloneurobion.
Okay, so let me discuss yung nasa YouTube video. Okay, so here. Okay, so we have the client and the host. The client is our PC, laptop, or cell phone. Okay, and the server is also maybe a laptop, a PC, or a cell phone. A client computer, or this one, for example, this PC, is the one who always asks, okay, who always gets something, okay, from another computer. Okay, imagine that we have a pizza business. The one who gets or buys the pizza is called the client. They are the customers. Okay. So in the networking terminology, the pizza will be our file or data or information from where the client requests that file or that pizza. Okay. And the server is the one who gives, okay, the file or data information or the pizza to the client. It's the source, okay, of the pizza. It's the source of the file or data or information that the client computer is requesting or wants to have. Okay. So again, client is the one who is asking for the services or the product. In the computer terminology, that will be file or data. And the server, as it serves the clients, it is the one who gives away, okay, the file or data or the information, in our example, the pizza, to the client. Okay, so that's the basic introduction to a client or to a host or server. A client or workstation or PC, that's our basic example of that. And then we have the host or server or web server. Okay, that will be our server. Okay, next, let us have our PDF. This one. Okay, we're done with the video. Let's go to the PDF. So we have the network operating system or NOS. So network operating system is a computer operating system, a system that is designed primarily to support workstation or client computers. In some instances, both terminals that are connected on a LAN or local area network. In our example, if our client computer is a workstation, has an operating system of Windows 7, then the operating system for the server will be Windows 2008 server and server, I forgot the version, 2. Okay. If we have Windows 10 for the client computer operating system of the client, then the server operating system will be Windows 2012. Okay, R2. Okay, I remember that, R2. Okay, so let me continue reading. The term network operating system is generally reserved for software that enhances a basic operating system by adding networking features like Noble Network, RTSOX, Fantastic, Microsoft Windows Server, and Windows NT are example of a NOS or network operating system. Basically, a NOS is a client operating system also with added networking features. Okay, so we have this Windows 2008 R2. It's also basically the same with Windows 7, but with networking features. Speaking of networking features, so what are the networking features of an operating system or network operating system? First, basic operating system features support like protocol support, processor support, hardware detection, and multiprocessing support for application. So it has the support for accessing the internet. Okay, basically. Second, security features are authentication, restriction, authorization, and access control. So in a NOS or network operating system, there will be authentication immediately, okay, before you go to the desktop of a network operating system. You will be required to input your username and password. Okay. Third, features for file, web service, printing, and application. In a NOS or network operating system, there will be replication or virtualization, okay, duplication of printing, web service, and then also for some file access system. Okay. Fourth, directory and name services management. Okay, so the same with the Windows 7 operating system. There will be naming services, okay, because every NOS has a username that you have to input. Next, user management features along with provisions for remote access and system management. In a NOS, there will be a remote access capability for a network operating system, from where a network or server computer can create a remote access to a client computer. And then we have internet networking features like routing and WAN ports and clustering capabilities. So a network operating system can group different clients in different groups. Okay. Next, common tasks associated with network operating system. So what are the common tasks? They can, of course, because there is a username and password, user administration. System maintenance activities like backup. So in a NOS, there will be, you can do backups. Tasks associated with file management. Okay. Backups for client computers. Okay. File management for client computers. Security monitoring on all resources in the network, or for client computers, security monitoring. You can allow a client computer to access a certain website or not, or can allow or deny certain access to programs or application from a certain client computer. Setting priority to create jobs in the network, you can allow or deny printing jobs coming from, or printing requests coming from different client computers. Okay, so those are the common tasks with a network operating system. So what is a client? It is a piece of computer hardware software that accesses a service made available by a server. The server is often, but not always, on another computer, in which case the client accesses a service by way of a computer network. The term applies to programs or devices that are part of a client-server model. In other words, client computers are the computers that always request access or files or data from the server. A client is the requesting program or user in client-server relationship. For example, the user of a web browser is effectively making client requests for pages from servers all over the web. The browser itself is a client in its relationship with the computer that's getting and returning the requested HTML file. The computer handling the request and sending back the HTML file is a server. Okay, that's the client. And then next we have, what is a server? Server is a computer or a program that manages access to a centralized resource or service in a network. Again, a server is the resource because it is the one giving away file or data. In a computer networking, a server is a computer designed to process requests and deliver data to other client computers over a local network or the internet. So the server is the one who processes requests because the one who are requesting the file or data are the client computers. So the server, he is the one processing this request, whether to allow or deny the request. Okay, to reply to a certain client computer or not. Many types of server exist, including the web servers. Let's say that's HTTP, mail servers for email protocols, and file servers. When we say file servers, that will be, let us say, the web. Okay, each type runs software specific to the purpose of the server. For example, a web server may run an Apache HTTP server for file servers, or Microsoft IIS or the Internet Service of Microsoft, which both provide access to websites over the Internet. Types of network operating system: we have peer-to-peer network operating system, and we have the client server networking operating system. So let's go first with the peer-to-peer. So peer-to-peer knows users are allowed to share resources and files located on their computers and access shared resources from others. This system is not based with having a file server or centralized management source. A peer-to-peer network sets all connected computers equal. They all share the same abilities to use resources available on the network. So peer-to-peer topology is a ring type. Okay, there will be no server. All client computers are treated as equal. Ring topology. Okay, as shown in the illustration. Advantages of a peer-to-peer network operating system is ease of setup because there will be no server, less hardware needed because there is no server to be purchased. Disadvantage, no central location for storage because there is no server. Lack of security because there is no server to manage different clients over the peer-to-peer network. So those are the obvious disadvantages. Let's go now to the second type, which is client-server networking operating system. Can be based on a client-server architecture in which a server enables multiple clients to share resources. Client-server network operating system allow the network to centralize function and applications in one or more dedicated file servers. The server is the center of the system, allowing access to resources and instituting security. So there is a server in the client-server architecture, from where the server is the one who controls the different clients or workstations. Okay, the server allows or deny the access of these client computers. Okay, here's a illustration of a sample client-server network. Advantages of client server: centralized servers are more stable. If one client computer doesn't work, it will not affect the network, of course. Security is provided through the server. The server is the one who manages the security. New technology and hardware can be easily integrated in the system. Again, because one client computer will not affect the network, can easily install another client computer that will not affect the other client computers over the network. And then the third advantage is servers are able to access remotely from different location types of system. It can easily access different clients from different locations, or can access any client computers over the network through remote desktop connections. Disadvantage, of course, if you have a server, you will cost buying and running this server from where the cost is high. Dependence of a central location or this type of operation is needed. And of course, because there is a server, you have to maintain and update always your server. Let us go now between the difference of a domain or a workgroup. What is a domain and then what is a workgroup? A domain is a group of computers and devices on a network that are administered as a unit with common rules and procedures. Within the internet, domains are defined by the IP address. All devices sharing common part of the IP address are said to be in the domain. Domain is for the internet having the IP address. Again, domain. This is our group of client computers or computers that is connected in the internet, okay, by the use of IP address, okay, internet protocol. Next, we have the workgroup. In computer networking, a workgroup is a collection of computers on a LAN that share common resources and responsibilities. Workgroups provide easy sharing of files, printers, and other network resources. The Microsoft Windows family of operating systems supports assigning computers to named workgroups. If domain is for the connection of different computers over the internet, workgroup is the connection of different client computers over the LAN or local area network. So geographically, workgroups are much smaller compared to domains. Okay, so that is the first part of our lesson for today. And then afterwards we'll be having the second part. That's all. Thank you.